How do you explain the cost difference between FreightSnap equipment and our competitors' equipment?
It's a good question. One we get asked a lot because there is quite a significant difference in price. So you always kind of hear you get what you pay for, but that's not always true these days with technology. Some of the legacy equipment that we are competing against in the marketplace basically was created a lot 10 plus years ago, and at that time some of the best lasers that are used to do this 3D dimensioning, they were a 2D field of view. So you had to use a moving chassis or some sort of mirror system that moved so that the laser could get a full view of the freight.
FreightSnap's equipment, do you have to move anything or is it just static?
No moving parts on the FreightSnap equipment, which is definitely an advantage and definitely brings the cost down. The main reason for that is, as in recent years, the push for automation, robotics, self-driving cars, self-driving forklifts, the sensor technology has really changed in that time period pretty drastically. Because of that, the sensors themselves take more of a picture like you would see like a camera would take, and then assigns depth. So you don't have to have a moving piece to move the camera. It just takes a one shot, you get a full field of view, and you get a 3D cloud of the whole freight.
So because of the sensors that you guys are using, do you see AI making any sort of leaps for your guys' algorithms in the future? Or?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something we're pushing forward right now. That's definitely the future. Do more with less. That's kind of always been our motto. So how can we push this technology through the AI and the machine learning? All that's very exciting, and can really unlock even more capabilities of the dimensioner that we already have.
Yeah, so that kind of walks us into our next step is, once you get all this data and all these algorithms are all going crazy and you get the dimensions, what do you do with it next? Is it easy for you to integrate into back office systems, TMSs, or is that sort of difficult?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, because pretty much, what is all this data worth if you can't actually digest it and put it in the systems and really do something with the data. And a lot of times, early on, that was causing big hangups in our rollout of our product to some of our customers. And through our experience with doing this, so many times, we actually created a bunch of tools through software that we ship with the unit that makes that process easy, to where we can drop down these data files. So after every scan, it's going to it creates an electronic record of that scan. Of the 3D data, timestamp, all that. And then it's going to send that to your system in a number of different ways. And we have, it can drop down to like a CSV file and send it directly to your system. We can FTP that file to your system. You can always send it to our cloud. Once in our cloud, you can use our online portal, which is a web-based website that you can log into and access and review everything. And once it's there, you have access to our API, which is available anywhere and in real time. So that's a option that a lot of people use, because more and more things are cloud-based. More and more WMS systems, ERP systems people are using in the cloud. So you send our data to the cloud, your other data is in the cloud, talk to the APIs, talk back and forth, and it's pretty seamless.
I see. So FreightSnap has basically created a suite of tools, basically allow the everyday developer to be able to access the information, but we also do provide custom API services also. So if the customer doesn't have those expertise, we provide it as well.
For sure, we have a team of developers that all they do is work on custom integrations for clients. So we are definitely there to help through this process, and we have experience. We've done it a bunch, and you might think, oh, my process is really difficult and it's very unique, but in the end, of the day, we've done this a lot and can help you through that process. We might even have a piece of software that's already written for it.
So another question I get here at FreightSnap is, a lot of customers already have scales in their warehouses. Is it difficult for FreightSnap to integrate into a customer's existing scale?
Yeah, so I would say that integrating your weight data is one of the most important things you can add to a dimensioner. Simply because dimensional data and weight combined are like the key elements to your freight pricing. So a lot of times right now, this is a manual two-step process. Put it on the scale, tape measure the dimensions. You can turn that into one step. Set it on the scale, click scan, you get the weight and dimensions at once. And how we do that is we basically can tap into your scale's existing data output. Most every scale indicator has a data output built in, and we just run a cable from your scale indicator up to our dimensioner, and we have proprietary software that parses that scale data out, puts it right into the dimensional data after every scan.
So you've basically taken that guesswork out of it.
Yeah,
Basically.
make it automatic, and we even sell. So if you think your scale indicator is old or might not work, you can use our own. FreightSnap has our own indicator that you can plug right into your existing floor scale, and that works out of the box.
So you provide custom and also out of the box solutions as well. So
Yep.
Okay. From that standpoint, what about forklift scales? Is it the same way, or is it any different?
Yeah, good question. So forklift scales depends on the model, but some forklift scales are already connected to your network, and in that case, our dimensioners have a web service that lives on them, and so with a little programming, and we actually have done this with a couple different of the most common floor scales or forklift scales that are out there. So it's probably already done. You can turn on a software feature, and there's a button that says dimension freight. So you pick up the freight with your forks, weigh it, set it down, put it in a dimensioner, and hit the button on the forklift indicator, and that will send it directly to the dimensioner.
So you see, FreightSnap's even gone as far as integrating their APIs into forklift indicators as well.
Yes, yeah, we've gotten with some of the main players in the forklift scale game, and and they've already implemented our software into their software.
It's very interesting because I can see how that can save a lot of time for a
Yeah.
forklift operator
Yeah.
with operating these dimensioners. So
For sure.
very cool.
Yeah, and on top of that, if you already have an existing forklift scale, and let's say you don't have it connected to your network, we actually sell an adapter that will connect that forklift scale to our basically a one-to-one connection to our unit.
So and basically turning the scale into an IoT device.
Yes, correct.
I see that is pretty big in this industry these days.
Yeah.
To be able to log all these data and be able to keep track of all of it as well in the cloud. So
Exactly, and forklift indicators and forklift scales themselves can be an expensive investment. So if you've already made that investment, but feel, well, I don't have the wireless indicator, you can still integrate that forklift into a FreightSnap device.
Okay, that's very cool. That's a lot of information. I hope everybody can get all that. But obviously, you can tell that FreightSnap's got it all taken care of. You know, we can integrate into anything, as you hear from Brian, our main engineer here.
I'd say our motto is always, we can do it.
Yeah.
So there's no. I don't think we've run into a problem that we haven't solved yet.